A puppet voiced by Chris Rock was more famous than most NBA superstars today, and that tells you everything about what we lost. What you're about to see isn't just nostalgia, it's proof that the 90s NBA didn't just have the best players, they had the best commercials, and it's not even close. These weren't advertisements, they were cultural events that stopped traffic, created catchphrases, and made athletes into legends before they even touched the court. I spent weeks hunting down every piece of footage from this era, and what I discovered will make you question why modern athletes are so damn boring. This is the definitive ranking of the 5 most iconic NBA commercial characters ever created, and why we'll never see anything like them again. We start with the player who made basketball look like poetry in motion. Grant Hill didn't just sell shoes, he sold a lifestyle. While other athletes were screaming about performance, Hill was whispering about style. Grant Hill drinks Sprite. 4 words that became a cultural phenomenon. Not Grant Hill is the best player or Grant Hill wins championships, just he drinks Sprite. And somehow, that was enough. These Fila commercials didn't just sell sneakers, they sold dreams. Hill made basketball look effortless, like he was floating through a music video instead of playing a sport.
Always dress nice.
The crazy part? Hill helped Fila expand beyond tennis shoes into mainstream basketball culture. One man, one aesthetic, one revolution. Compare that to today's athletes who endorse everything from diapers to insurance. Hill had focus, Hill had mystique, but smooth was just the beginning. What if I told you the most wholesome commercial in NBA history was also the most subversive? David Robinson took the most beloved children's show in American history and turned it into a basketball lesson. This wasn't just clever, this was genius. Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood, a play on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, where the Admiral taught kids about basketball with the same gentle wisdom Fred Rogers used to teach about life. Robinson adopted that calm, friendly demeanor, using his wit and charm to educate viewers. But here's what made it brilliant. He was selling Nike shoes while teaching moral lessons. One commercial showed Robinson celebrating his birthday with friends, including Michael Jordan, receiving Nike shoes as gifts. It was product placement disguised as friendship. Today's athletes make generic PSAs about giving back to the community. Robinson made education entertaining and made Nike look like the good guys. The campaign helped solidify Robinson's image as likable and relatable, extending his appeal beyond basketball. He wasn't just an athlete, he was America's basketball teacher. But educational content was nothing compared to pure, unfiltered chaos. What happened next was so insane it could only happen in the 90s. Dennis Hopper, the guy from Blue Velvet and Apocalypse Now, became Nike's secret weapon. Not an athlete, not a coach, a Hollywood psychopath selling basketball shoes. Hopper played a football fan who was, and I quote, batshit crazy. He would scream, rant, and lose his mind over sports while somehow making you want to buy Nike products.
Bad things, man. I mean bad things.
This was cross-sport marketing genius, football fan promoting basketball culture. Hollywood talent selling athletic gear. It made no sense, which is exactly why it worked. The man was unhinged, unpredictable, and absolutely magnetic. You couldn't look away because you never knew what he'd do next. Today's celebrity endorsements are focus grouped to death. Hopper was pure chaos, and chaos sells. But even Hollywood couldn't compete with what came next, an athlete who broke every rule in the book. This is where things got legendary. Larry Johnson didn't just put on a dress, he created a character so iconic that she appeared on sitcoms, spawned merchandise, and became more famous than most actual NBA players. Grandmama was Larry Johnson's fictional grandmother who could beat anyone on the basketball court while wearing Converse shoes.
My grandmama can whoop you in her. Grandmama! Let's go.
The concept was simple, the execution was revolutionary. The ads became such a cultural phenomenon that Grandmama appeared on Family Matters. A fake basketball grandmother from a shoe commercial got her own TV episode. Let that sink in. The campaign ran for years. 3 Points Land in 1994 featured Grandmama being transported from 3 Point Land back to the low post. It was Wizard of Oz meets basketball, and it was perfect. Today's athletes wouldn't even wear pink shoes without a focus group. Johnson put on a full dress, wig, and makeup and became a cultural icon. This campaign broke gender norms in sports marketing 30 years before anyone was talking about breaking gender norms. Johnson was ahead of his time, and Converse was brave enough to let him be. But there was one character that became bigger than basketball itself. And the most iconic NBA commercial character of all time?
If that's couch me a letter, cause it's sticking to my leg. I'll be right back.
Lil Penny wasn't just a puppet. He was a cultural phenomenon that transcended sports, invaded pop culture, and became more recognizable than the player he represented. Voiced by Chris Rock at the peak of his comedy career, Lil Penny had swagger, attitude, and the kind of trash-talking personality that made him instantly legendary. Penny, Penny, you're so cool. Why do you make time stop? Ice cream falling, bubbles float. LP needs a raincoat. These weren't just lyrics, they were poetry. Absurd, beautiful poetry. The commercials featured Tyra Banks, Tiger Woods, Barry Sanders, and more. A-list celebrities were lining up to appear with a puppet. Think about that. Lil Penny appeared in Blackstreet's No Diggity music video. Rappers mentioned him in songs. He crossed over from sports marketing into mainstream entertainment. The merchandising empire was insane. Talking dolls with Chris Rock's voice, action figures, apparel, posters, moving lapel pins. Kids wanted Lil Penny gear more than they wanted the actual shoes. He appeared on Oprah before Chris Rock was even announced as the voice. Oprah Winfrey interviewed a puppet about basketball shoes. The 90s were wild. Today's NBA has tried to recreate this magic with various mascots and characters. They all fail because they're trying to manufacture what Lil Penny had naturally: authentic personality. The genius was that Lil Penny said everything Penny Hardaway couldn't. He was cocky, funny, and controversial, while Hardaway stayed professional. It was the perfect partnership. So, what made all these characters work when modern commercials fail miserably? After studying hundreds of hours of footage, I discovered the 4 reasons 90s NBA commercials dominated, and why we'll never see anything like them again. Reason 1. Cultural penetration. These commercials created catchphrases that became part of everyday language. It's gotta be the shoes. Be like Mike. Just do it. They weren't selling products, they were creating culture. What's the last time a modern NBA commercial created a catchphrase? When's the last time you quoted an athlete's commercial? Exactly. Reason 2. Athletes as entertainers. 90s commercials showed the personalities and humor of NBA stars beyond their athletic abilities. They were entertainers first, endorsers second. Charles Barkley said, "Just because I dunk a basketball doesn't mean I should raise your kids." Can you imagine a modern athlete saying that? They'd be canceled before the commercial finished airing. Reason 3. Risk-taking creativity. Brands weren't afraid of controversy. Cross-dressing, crazy personas, controversial messages. Everything was on the table if it got attention. Today's commercials are focus grouped to death. Every word is tested. Every image is approved by committees. The result? Boring, forgettable garbage. Reason 4. Marketing revolution. The 90s shifted marketing focus from teams to individual athletes. Nike's success with Air Jordan set the precedent for how athletes could create and monetize their personal brands. But today's athletes endorse everything. Giannis has deals with Huggies, Castrol, Nike, NBC Sports, Starry, Google Pixel, and Hulu. When you endorse everything, you stand for nothing. So, what happened? How did we go from cultural phenomenon to corporate boredom? Jason Tatum's recent Amica Insurance commercial focuses on the connection between Tatum's dedication in basketball and his commitment to protecting his family. Riveting stuff. LeBron's Amazon Prime Day campaign shows him as a barber, hibachi chef, and lounge singer. It's trying so hard to be quirky that it's painful to watch. Modern NBA promotional content focuses on creating a global, engaging, and innovative fan experience. That's corporate speak for we have no idea what we're doing. Social media killed the mystery. Athletes share everything now, so there's nothing left for commercials to reveal. We know what they eat for breakfast. Why would we care about their shoe endorsement? Brands are terrified of controversy. One wrong tweet can end a campaign. So everyone plays it safe. Safe is boring. Boring doesn't get shared. The 90s NBA commercials dominated because they understood something modern marketing has forgotten. People don't buy products, they buy personalities. Lil Penny, Grandmama, Mr. Robinson, Dennis Hopper, and Grant Hill weren't just selling shoes, they were selling dreams, creating culture, and building legends. Today's athletes are brands. 90s athletes were characters, and characters are what people remember, share, and love. Which 90s NBA commercial character was your favorite? Comment Lil Penny if Chris Rock's puppet was your guy, Grandmama if Larry Johnson in a dress made you laugh. Or drop your own favorite in the comments. And if this video made you nostalgic for when athletes had personality, share it with someone who remembers when commercials were actually entertaining. Because if you think 90s commercials were wild, wait until you see what happened when the hip-hop culture collided with the NBA. That story is even crazier, and I break it all down in this video right here.